And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and we have a second show called the Consumer Quarterback Show, more focused on health, wealth, nutrition, lifestyle, and recreation. Over 80 show partners now between our two brands, and we all want to entertain you, we want to educate you, we want to enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our Consumer Advocate hotline number in your phone, 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894. If you want you to bookmark our website, it's realestateradiotampa.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida that we've assembled, we've vetted, and they are consumer advocates as well, carrying that torch as a consumer advocate at realestateradiotampa.com. Click on the Expert Contributors tab. You can see all of our expert contributors as well as our listings from Platinum MVP Realty and also links to our preferred partners and blog site as well. And so we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder, if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work, this show's for you. We want to help you win, help you avoid a lot of the commission-based advice that's so prevalent in our community and make you more street smart. Go around the horn now, make our introductions here. Back in studio, Jeremy Wolons, Florida JW Assurance.
Thanks, Brandon. Glad to be back. Today, just looking to talk about some of the flooding that's going on and ways to save money on your flood insurance.
Looking sharp, too, man.
Thank you, sir.
Sharp. Like that shirt.
Thanks.
Also, Matt Fonk, Cavalier Estates, LLC, property management expert here in studio. Welcome back in, sir.
Yeah, man, I'm the rent man. That's what you call me, right? That's what they all call me, the rent man. I want to talk today a little bit about reports and what owners should be getting. I know some people that don't get what they're supposed to get, and when you're not getting paid, you ought to call me because I'll get you paid.
That's right. That's right. A couple hundred doors under management and been doing it for many, many years, right?
Yeah, about until 2010 and 2006 really started it, and then got my education around 1996.
Awesome. We'll jump into that content. And also back in studio, Curt Lorden, branch manager at Interlink Mortgage, local lender, well-respected in the community, mortgage professional, expert contributor, Real Estate Quarterback Show.
Thanks, Brandon. 2 nights in a row. I'm back.
Yeah.
And everyone has books. We need to hurry up and get your book published so I can have a book as well.
And you have a book.
I feel left out.
Here, you can have mine. Just put your face on the front of it and write the bottom on there with your name.
Okay. Just white it out and write it in.
Yeah, we got the Consumer Quarterback Playbook here that we're coming out with. All of our partners have an opportunity to write a chapter in there. We've got really good nuggets of advice, common misnomers around in different areas in real estate and credit and finance, estate planning, tax planning, insurance, all the different areas. And that's our goal, is to help you win. And that's what we established this show for. And we're Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate. We're here daily, 7 p.m. on iHeartRadio, 1250 Wins. Also have a weekend show on 102.5 The Bone and WeBeam TV as well. You can stream the show live anytime you're listening to it. You can watch it live on WeBeam TV as well as our website. And a couple of hot property listings here. I've got a commercial opportunity. We just reduced this property over $50,000, so it's a great buying opportunity here at 8203 U.S. Highway 301 South in Riverview. Now, this is a commercial opportunity, 0.7 acres of land, 30 parking spaces, 2,200 square foot building, and it's an established restaurant located at 8203 U.S. Highway 301 South in Riverview. $599,000, great buying opportunity. Build your dream house here, 2101 Isle of Palms Drive in Valrico, Bloomingdale section, and it's a great buying opportunity. Half-acre golf course lot, Fox Run phase, Bloomingdale Ridge. $135,000 is the magic number. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this content. Jeremy Wolons, JW Assurance, back in studio. What's happening in the insurance world, man?
Well, in the insurance world, we have some flooding over in Louisiana, which isn't looking too good because they're actually saying it's worse than Katrina, and this is the 11th year since Katrina hit over there. So,
wow.
Thankfully, here in the sunny state of Florida, we don't have or haven't had those problems, knock on wood.
Yep.
But because of these disasters outside of our area, there's insurance rates are going up, flooding rates are going up, but there's a lot of private companies that are coming in and writing flood insurance now, so you don't have to go with the government-backed insurance. There's other options, and it's giving more ability for the consumer to kind of lower those rates as the rates are increasing.
So, so this all pulls from the National Flood Insurance Program when you have these storms. This superstorm Sandy is one that really drained the fund some time back and kind of caused those issues that we had 2 or 3 years ago as well.
Yeah, I mean, it started back with all of the, with Katrina and then Sandy and back-to-back with these floods in areas that just didn't have or weren't prone. I don't want to say Katrina because that's more of a prone area, but in New York with Sandy, in New Jersey, those areas aren't really prone for flood as much, even though they're on the coast, because they're just not hit with as many hurricanes as we are down here, or flood surge. So yeah, that drained the fund, and then we went through that whole phase a couple of years ago where rates jacked up and they took away the discounts that they were giving us on the policies, and then that went out of whack, and then they kind of brought things back, and slowly now they're peeling the Band-Aid off. So we're going to start seeing those rates increase. I don't know if we're going to see them back to the way they were before, but they figure, okay, this is giving us the time to make those changes that we need to and get those funds back up. But in the meantime, the good news is there's private sectors that are coming in and they're insuring flood now without the government-backed FEMA. So still in the same guidelines as FEMA. So they, the banks and mortgages usually they'll take them. There's not a problem there. But it's just giving more options for that consumer so they can help get lower rates.
Yeah, that's interesting. You think about it as a homeowner, you want to have a policy in place. And, here's something, too, that's a little bit confusing sometimes in the marketplace. Can you speak to, the difference between having a policy and then what if it's caused by wind versus what if it's caused by water intrusion? Aren't there some things that people want to consider?
Well, yeah, there is the difference between, flood and water damage is a lot of people say, well, I don't have to have flood insurance, but then they think, well, if I have water damage, then it falls under flood. Well, it doesn't. That's totally different. Flood is if a pipe breaks in the home, hot water heater breaks, anything that would be exposed to water rushing in that's not due to a cause of nature from a surge from the ocean or tidal waters. Those would all be covered under flood, would be tidal waters, anything that came in. And really, actually, it has to encompass 2 acres. So even if you get which the chances are, I mean, if a flood's going to come in, it's going to encompass more than 2 acres. But that's the qualifications to be.
Is it different though if a pipe burst upstairs or your air conditioner? A common thing that happens with people, their air conditioning line backs up and then it floods and it kind of seeps through the ceiling. Is that different?
That's different. Yeah, that's just water damage. So that's covered under your homeowners or your dwelling fire or whatever type of policy you have.
Right.
So those are going to be covered under your homeowners, and then flood is going to be the separate policy.
Well, you got hurricane and flood, though? There's 2 different things, right?
Yeah, there's 2 different things, because hurricane, you could have a hurricane, but then you might not have a surge.
Yeah.
So depending on where you're located, that's totally different. So that's going to be under your hurricane. Well, okay, getting into like a homeowner's policy, there's a hurricane deductible, which is that percentage that you see. So like 2%, sometimes it's 5%. That's for your hurricane.
Right.
And then your wind and hail is usually which is called your all other perils, which is like either $1,000 or $2,500 deductible. So if you have a windstorm or a hailstorm that comes in, it's going to be under your $2,500 deductible. And then the hurricane portion is going to be under that 2%. So it is separated, but it is on the same policy, although you can get a wind-only policy in some areas where certain carriers won't write the wind insurance, especially like right up on the coast. There's certain carriers that won't. If you're right, you just joined
us, you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. We're talking with Jeremy Wolons. He's the owner of JW Assurance, longtime insurance partner on the show and well respected in the community. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about sinkholes.
Sinkholes. Well, there's been some changes this year with sinkholes, and the statutes changed now that they're allowing basically it's not as limited as it used to be. So when we think of sinkhole, we think of it falls under shifting, cracking, earth movement. is what a sinkhole is. Catastrophic ground collapse is when the whole ground opens up. So when we see those on the news where the home has fallen into the ground, that's catastrophic. That's a Florida statute. It's covered under all policies admitted to Florida. They have made some changes there to that where now the home can qualify for certain criteria, so it doesn't have to be catastrophic anymore.
Right.
But to still get sinkhole coverage, you have to go through an inspection process, and that's where those little pockets open up or where we see earth movement. So there's still some restrictions there on that.
Interesting. When we come back, we're going to touch more on that, Jeremy. I want to find out a little more detail about that because we've seen a lot of that happen up in Pasco County recently. And also, we're going to bring Matthew Fonk, Cavalier Estates, LLC, into the conversation, property management expert here. And later in the show as well, we're going to hear from Curt Lorden. He's the branch manager of Interlink Mortgage, local lender here in Tampa Bay. Support your local economy. And you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Roadwork heralds start to remake as part of downtown Tampa Bay Vacant Cascade. And more from our experts in studio. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. Featured in Florida Realtor Magazine multiple times, Tampa Bay Business Journal or Tribune. Also a former USF football. I'm excited. I just got my tickets from my friend Marshall. Got our season tickets in place, ready to go. We got those Florida State Seminoles coming down here later in September. Looking forward to some great football at Raymond James here as a former USF football player on the inaugural team. And also got a couple of hot listings here I want to touch on. I got 5722 Tanagerside Road in Lithia. This is in Parkside Village, 4-bedroom, 3-bath property. Beautiful pool home, over 3,200 square feet, heated, and listed at $459,000. Great buying opportunity here in Fishhawk, as well as a beach property. I've got 13235 Gulf Boulevard, unit number 409 in Madeira Beach. This is Madeira Bay Resort 2 condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, community pool, condotel. Great rental opportunity if you are a turnkey style. It's fully furnished as well and listed at $239,000. Great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, so we're talking with Jeremy Wolons here, JW Assurance, talking about we ended up leaving, kind of in the areas of sinkhole. We saw some of that, activity happening again. And, what can our consumers do to protect themselves?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. We do. It's especially in this area when you're in Pinellas and Hillsborough because it is Sinkhole Alley. But just from a purchasing standpoint, know what you're buying, with the home. But there is insurance, so that they can be insured. And I find now that more policies or more carriers are allowing to write the insurance when the home's been repaired. So long as it's been repaired, that's a plus.
Yeah, don't they say that a sinkhole repaired home is actually better than a home that's not because it's already got the iron down there?
They do, and with the pinning and everything, and definitely it's a more secure home. The problem is, and I think a lot of carriers, it's because, we can write insurance when the home hasn't been repaired, and those carriers are not admitted to the state of Florida, so they don't have to follow the Florida statute, which is the catastrophic ground collapse. So what scared away a lot of these admitted carriers to the state of Florida, they have to follow that statute. So if they've got a home that they're insuring that's already had sinkhole activity, who's to say that there couldn't be catastrophic activity?
Right.
Now, the chances of that are slim, but again, it's an insurance company. They're looking at, let's just stay away from it. But now, more carriers that I'm finding that are admitted to Florida, they are writing the insurance if they have had the repairs. Because,
they should
you're
to,
correct.
Just like a certain amount of drunk drivers that are repeated drunk drivers, I know the insurance companies have to insure those guys because they're,
and which they did. I mean, and they did that for many years. Unfortunately, those attorneys got greedy and went after him, so they kind of said, you know what, that's it, we're not insuring them anymore.
Oh, man.
So, But, I mean, there's, and Florida's stepping in, especially helping out with the statute and making it more consumer friendly, to get those. It's still limited, but at least coverages that are protecting the consumer.
Yeah, and it's something, we're talking about home insurance. We're talking about investment opportunities here on the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Jeremy Wolons, I would urge you just to get a review as well. How long has it been since you've taken a look at what your current policies are, what are the limits, and what are your deductibles? Maybe there's some things you can do to raise them or reduce them. We want you reaching out to Jeremy Wolons, JW Assurance. Check them out at realestateradiotampa.com. Links to all of our expert contributors are located there. We're going to go ahead and switch gears now. I want to talk property management with our expert contributor here, Matthew Fonk, Cavalier Estates, LLC.
Yeah, hey, Jeremy's a good guy. He referred me some guys, and it's really been a nice shot of business in the arm.
Nice.
And, so you got to talk to your insurance guy from time to time.
Take
care of you.
Yeah.
I was going to talk a little bit about reports because, I come across people that don't get paid on a monthly basis as an owner of a rental property. I mean, that would really just piss me off if that happened to me.
Yeah.
And so, you got this property. There's a tenant in there. You might have had some maintenance, but still, you're not getting paid. I mean, here we're at the 19th of the month, 18th of the month already. I know some people that haven't gotten paid for last month's rent, and it's like that's just ridiculous. Now, I pay everybody within the first 12 days. Usually the first week they're paid.
Yep.
But I got up to the first 12 days, and it just gives me time in case there is a late straggler. Then we have to go through the process of giving a notice and then collecting the rent based on the time frame if they got allowed to pay it.
Yep.
But anyway, you should get, as a property as a rental property owner, a management company should provide them with an owner statement.
Yep.
And that owner statement should show all the ins and the outs, a running tally. It's just like a checkbook register.
Interesting.
And then you can also request, if they allow it and your agreement with them allows it, to see an income statement. Maybe even review a general ledger if need be, if you need to really dial into some things. And at the end of the day, they should give you a 1099 based on what's going on so you can report your income to your government, and because they're going to provide you with that as well. But, good, clean statements on a regular basis. I send mine out on the 15th of every month, and it's always on the 15th. And then I try to go back to the month before.
Yep.
So they can see the full month closed out plus the beginning of this month for the next 15 days.
Yeah.
And that seems to work. And we pay everybody electronically. So, those are some great systems that you should have in place. And if you don't have that, you reach out to me or reach out to another company that does. And if you're shopping for a management company, investigate them. Ask those questions. How do you market the property? How do you take care of the books? What kind of reports can I expect? Do I get them if I get a payment, or do I not get them when there is no payment?
Yeah.
Do you repairs ahead of time, that sort of thing. So.
Well, there's no better play right now. And you look at all the uncertainty in the stock market. You look at the geopolitical things happening in the news. You look at terrorism. There's no better play right now than owning real estate, owning a duplex, triplex, quad, maybe an apartment complex, something that people have to live somewhere.
Yep.
And then it's an insurable asset, as Jeremy just spoke of. You can insure the asset, wind, fire, flood. Worst case scenario, you have that insurance policy. And, it's something that you can determine your own destiny by buying these duplexes, triplex, quads, apartments, investing in rental income. And then you turn it over to someone who's an expert like Matt Fonk, Cavalier Estates, LLC. Let him manage the portfolio for you. That way you can get back to being a great doctor, nurse, contractor, whatever you do on your daily basis. So that's a great, strong play. We see a lot of smart money moving that way right now, Matt.
Yeah, and that's I was taught by a friend of mine, John Schaub. He goes, 10 houses free and clear. I mean, and if that's the number in decent, good neighborhoods,
right?
Single-family homes, 10 of them free and clear at some point in your life. How much income is that going to provide you passively to live on and retire on?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goal.
Exactly. Yeah. You
don't need many.
10 normal 2,000 square foot home, you're looking at approximately $200,000 roughly. Let's just use round number. You're looking at $2 million net worth on paper. Passive income coming in on that be roughly.
Well, you get $1,500 to $2,000 a month. It just depends. I mean, they all vary, but I mean, if you had 10 houses, for example, paying you, let's just round it up to $1,000 a month.
Yep.
Okay, times 10. There's 10 grand coming in.
Yep.
And if you had to hire a manager, of course, you would have to pay a percentage back to them, and that's all negotiable. There's no set standard rates.
What's a fair percentage for someone to pay? What's a range, maybe something that people would want to look for?
It all depends. I mean, you got to be careful in saying percentages, but you'll see that somebody that gets a larger portfolio, like an apartment complex or something, they usually do it on a per unit basis. And for homes, it can range. You're working for less than tips. I'll be honest with you there. Let's put it that way.
It's gonna, if it's a single family home, it's different than if it's a channel side condo high rise.
Well, channel side condo high rise. I mean, it's the same, really. I mean, I've got them. I manage them, but see, I get a percentage of that rent, and I get more.
Right.
Versus $1,000, I only get a percentage of that one.
Right.
And or you might do a flat fee where you make $100, or you make a flat $200 or $300. It just depends what the rate is that you negotiate. Some of the places I fix lease,
right,
where I am the principal, I take half the rent and I pay the owner half and I keep half.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just because it's a fixed lease, and now I'm a principal and I've got more risk involved in this deal than if I was just a manager collecting rents for somebody else.
Let's talk about that, because I love you're creative in these areas of real estate, and you'll go in if somebody, maybe give us a success story of someone, a little outside the box. I remember you told me some stories where you've gone in and you said, hey, I'll take an equity piece. I know you've got some arrears owed. I'll catch up the note. I mean, you're getting creative with things.
A great thing is look for the blue tarps on the roof during the rainy season.
Yeah.
And how long it's been there. And if it's been there a long time, go knock on the door and say, hey, I see you need a roof. And, 9 times out of 10, they're broke.
Right.
So say, listen, hey, I'll put the roof on. Sell me an option on the house.
Right.
Record the option in public record.
Yep.
And now you got an option in the house at some point in time in the future that you can execute or utilize if you want. And if you don't, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Or they can pay you back because you lent them the money to fix the roof. You just, whatever terms you and the person agree to, and just be straightforward and honest.
Yep.
Put it on a yellow pad. Talk it out. If it's not good for you, it's not going to be good for me. But if it's good for both of us and we totally can agree on it,
right.
Great. And if you do agree on something, don't come back the next day and change it under their nose without them knowing about it. And don't try to change it the next day. Stick with what you did the first day.
Yep.
Unless it's a really bad deal, and just walk away.
Yeah. And you're protected. You can record that mechanics lien or not mechanics lien.
Well, it's an option. You should record it with a mortgage. in public record. If you use a memorandum, it could be overlooked.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's Matthew Fonk, Cavalier Estates, LLC, longtime friend of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, partner on the show, expert contributor, and we're going to hear from Curt Lorden. He's the branch manager of Interlink Mortgage, as well as all of our contributors as well. When we come back, we're going to go into the lightning round here as well with the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and we got an interesting article as well. Roadwork heralds start of remake for part of downtown Tampa Bay. Cascade, Vacant Cascade here. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to a Real Estate Quarterback Show. RealEstateRadioTampa.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation. Visit Pasco County, Florida.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus Card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show. This segment is brought to you by Michael Vogt. He's an expert massage therapist with Back in Health Massage, helping people with neck, back, shoulder, hip, and leg pain feel better. 3750 Gun Highway in Tampa. Back in Health Massage, voted top 10 massage services in Tampa Bay by the readers of the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Best in the Biz Awards, as well as giving a shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. referred for a reason. The Maids, they have 100% 24-hour satisfaction guarantee. And before we jump back into this great content, Intelligent Talk Radio, we've got some intelligent folks here in studio. I got a couple of hot listings I want to talk to you about. I got our featured property of the month. It's actually the cover of Homes and Land magazine for this month. It's 414 South Royal Palm Way in Tampa, Beach Park Beauty. 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, over 4,800 square feet heated, listed at $1.195 million. Distinguished South Tampa home, Beach Park community, and one of the hottest zip codes in all of Tampa Bay. 414 South Royal Palm Way in Tampa, as well as right around the corner, I have another listing here at 4618 West Beach Park Drive. 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 1 half bath, listed at 2,556 square feet heated, and just reduced down to $785,000 for this beautiful 4-bed, 3-bath, 2-car garage, Cape Cod style pool home, and desirable beach park in beautiful Tampa Bay.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida here, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. daily, and also on the weekends on 102.5 The Bone on the FM dial. And first segment, we heard from Jeremy Wolons, JW Assurance, and we're also talking now with Matthew Fonk, Cavalier Estates, LLC, and we're going to bring Curt Lorden into the conversation. So, Matt, top nugget of advice, what question do people want to ask, top question or two that people want to ask their property management, when they're interviewing property management experts to manage their properties?
We get asked all the time, do you do background checks? Yeah, I mean, to me, that's second nature. Of course. It's
right.
You're not going to give the keys to the castle to somebody you don't know, but there are a lot of people that do it on a gut. They do a gut check, and they think it's okay. I mean, we use a scoring sheet. We rate them so that, we're somewhat we rate them so we're compliant with everybody, treating everybody the same.
Right.
And so we look at the rental history, if the score comes in some points, the medical, that kind of thing. That's something that really needs to be asked. Do you do the background checks? How are the rents collected? How do you pay me? Mm-hmm. How do you collect the rents? I mean, we collect the rents. 3 options they have. And that's they can pay it online for free. They can go to 7-Eleven or Ace Cash Services with a voucher and pay $3.99 and give them the cash, and it works like a gift card, but it comes in right into their ledger and it posts. So that's cash. There's no screwing around. It hits my bank just like that. And they can also go to my Dropbox at my UPS store. I have a box set up at the UPS store. Yep. They're there, and when they send it, when they get that, they send me an email, so I know it's been paid, and then I'll go pick it up. But I don't want people coming to the office and thinking we got money there. We don't. We don't carry money at the office.
Right.
But
yeah, great point. Hey, one of the things too I've heard is you walk outside and you look in their, if you're ever face to face, is you look in their vehicle. How do they keep their car? Is it a mess?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, how did they keep themselves? And another thing you can do is drive by there, go interview them at the house they live in now.
Exactly.
That's where you go. If you really, if you like them and that's the last thing, go see how they live now.
Yep.
Invite yourself over.
Good point. All right, let's go ahead and bring Curt Lorden into the mix here, branch manager, Interlink Mortgage. What are you seeing out there, Curt?
Well, first off, I can't believe it's 20 years since USF football's been in existence.
Isn't it crazy?
We're getting old, and I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, we are.
To kind of circle back with what Jeremy was saying, my house that I live in currently, I bought last August, and it had a fixed sinkhole, and it was on the market forever because everyone was so afraid of it, and it is pinned to the bedrock, and it ended up appraising almost a full $100,000 over what I bought it for. So home buyers out there, don't be afraid, to possibly buy a house that had a previous sinkhole.
Right.
Read the geological survey, get someone, get an expert out there to review it to make sure it's safe, but don't just shy away from it because on the MLS it says previous sinkhole.
Right.
You're just shooting yourself in the foot. And, with what Matt's saying as far as, you should have 10 free and clear properties by the time you retire. It's a really good, source of passive income. And we talked about on last night's show that future assets are diminishing because the Fed won't raise the rates. So it's a really good way to prepare your, your retirement and your future. And not only that, but then you can leave it to your children, your grandkids or whatever. So you're leaving that legacy.
Yep.
But I know everyone out there in radio land's probably saying, well, how on earth do I get 10 properties? And it's simple. You just get them one at a time.
One at a time.
And, you have to align yourself with people that will teach you and coach you on how to do those things. I mean, if your teeth are crooked, you're not going to put your own braces on. You're going to go to your dentist and they're going to do it for you.
Right.
You're not going to change your own oil. Well, you can if you know how to, but,
Right.
I don't. That's why I have a mechanic. So, we talk about that financial checkup. If you're not making the money that you want or you're struggling to pay your bills each and every month, reach out to an expert, reach out to a financial planner, reach out to a mortgage consultant. That way they can look at your situation. It doesn't cost you anything. All of this is just free advice.
Right.
Go through your credit report, calculate your household interest rate, teach you how to make your liabilities lessen and your assets grow, and take that next step. I mean, like I said, I think 60% of Americans right now couldn't survive a $400 emergency, which is horrible. We need to start saving. We need to start putting money back, need to start to learn how to put together a budget. I was talking to a certified financial planner yesterday, and we were talking about possibly, aligning ourselves with a couple of the local high schools to teach them about homeownership and also the colleges. Teach them how to save up front. Stuff they don't teach in economics is how to properly buy a home or how to do this or how to do that. It's kind of this whole surface level type of, view instead of drilling down to what has been driving our economy for the past 16 years, which is housing.
Yeah.
They should be learning about this.
Sure. Yeah, decisions determine your destiny, and when you have a goal in mind, you've got to take action. You've got to take some kind of a small step toward that action, and in this case, it's saving a little bit of money for down payment. We're going to come back to Curt. We're going to talk about how little of money you actually need these days, because there's a lot of misconceptions about down payment monies. But it's something that it's so true, and it's a way that you can control your destiny. You're not investing in some stock like an Enron that could potentially, what happens there with these Enron stories and these stocks, and it's not like you're investing in gold where you don't actually have the actual gold in your hand. You're relying on some other company that, who knows, could file bankruptcy. You don't know. But when you can drive out to a local property, let's say you buy a duplex, you live in one side, you rent the other out, you can drive to that property, you can inspect that property, you're the owner of that property, and you can leverage that property later on as well.
You absolutely can. And if you follow the right steps, you can make your house bubble proof, so we're not going to relive 2008. And I'll tell you a story. A really good friend of mine was living with a roommate, and the roommate said, I'm taking the next step with my boyfriend. I need you to move out by January. And she's just in complete panic. She's like, I don't really want to go rent. Rent's out of control right now. So I sat down with her and I went through everything with her step by step. I said, why don't you simply just buy? And she's like, well, I don't have the money for a down payment. I said, well, let's look at your 401k and let's look at possibly doing the bond program or down payment assistance. Well, she has enough in her 401k to be able to pull that out, and it's tax free. I think it's up to either $9,000 or $12,000. I can't remember the exact figure, but so she's going to pull it out of her 401k, and she's going to buy a house, and all of her stress is now relieved. We put together a 3-year plan that at the end of 36 months, if appreciation continues, she'll be able to consolidate the rest of her debt. And now she's only going to have her car and her home. Completely blindsided her with that. She's like, I never even thought that was even possible. Right. And I know that if there's one person out there, there's thousands of people out there that just don't have the right information. So listen to the show and buy a house.
That's right. We want to help you. We want to help you think a layer deeper, and that's the whole goal of this show, is help you avoid a lot of the commission-based advice that's so prevalent in our community. Make you more street smart. So there's an example of someone that didn't even have it in their immediate future. They're just thinking rent. When you actually sit down, you think about it, you access, you sit down and you slow down. That's part of it, is slow down. You want to think on paper, pull out a sheet of paper, have a clean sheet, and you think about, okay, here's the pros, here's the cons, here's all of my resources that are involved, kind of like a business would do a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you're going to sit down and you're going to say, hey, here's what we're looking at. So you showed her how to access this 401k money and, be able to put that into a down payment. So we got about a minute left in the segment, but can you talk about down payments?
Yeah. So, basically you can get away with, as little as 3% down. If you're a veteran, you can do 100% financing, obviously. There are second mortgage options that can go up to, some 100% financing as well. But you also have the Florida bond program, which you can access up to $15,000 that will go towards closing costs as well as down payment.
Right.
Your down payment can be the form of a gift from a family member or a loved one. It can be obviously from one of your investments or your assets, or just, savings. It can't be from underneath your mattress. It actually has to be in a legitimate account. It's not 2005 anymore.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Call up your family members. You can have gift funds come into a down payment.
Yeah.
And you can be a homeowner before you know it. That's the thing. You start building up equity. You stop paying your landlord, paying his mortgage down. You're building up equity. You're taking advantage of the appreciation that we're seeing in the best city in the United States of America, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, and you're able to, develop that legacy, build that legacy that you're going to be able to pass on to your children, and you're a positive role model now as well for your children by owning your own home and owning your own piece of the American dream, which is home ownership. So more from our experts here in studio. We're also going to talk about Roadwork Heralds start the remake of part of downtown Tampa Bay, Vacant Cascade. This and more from our expert contributors. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes, your host, the Real Estate Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty. And we're having a real estate roundtable discussion here in Tampa Bay, live from iHeartRadio, South Tampa here. And I want to remind you, we have our Consumer Advocate Playbook that's out there on Amazon. Please pick yourself up a copy, like it, share it, review it online. We really appreciate that. Forward is written by Tom Hopkins and also Chris Brogan. And so we're back here in studio. This segment is brought to you by Brace Accounting. I want to give a shout out to Ronald Brace over at Brace Accounting. What a great guy, great accountant, and he's also a 24-year veteran of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's an off-ice official. So who better than to keep the books for the Lightning than an accountant, right? And also giving a shout out to Florida Firearms Academy. Kevin Wild over at Florida Firearms Academy talking about concealed weapons carry and how you can protect yourself and self-defense on part of our Consumer Quarterback Show, the second brand that we have with the Real Estate Quarterback Show. And so we're back here in iHeartRadio. We're going to talk about this story here. We heard Roadwork heralds start of remake for part of downtown Tampa Bay, Venice Cascade. So road infrastructure work will start on Saturday, August 29th. Morgan Street will affect Channel Side Drive, Jefferson Street, and downtown. They represent the first in 5 steps by Strategic Property Partners, real estate firm of the Lightning owner, Venick and Cascade Investment, rebuilding 40 acres of Tampa's urban core. So the $35 million roadwork project involves adding infrastructure underground, including pipes for a chilled water distribution plant. It will also change traffic patterns and add roads. The first phase of the construction is expected to continue to next summer. The roads affected will remain open during construction, though traffic may be limited. So a lot of infrastructure work coming our way, Curt.
That's actually interesting, since on last night's show we talked about how we need to improve the transportation and the transit, and now we're knocking out roads and making it very difficult to get to Lightning games for a year. So, yeah. But I mean, it is good. I mean, you got to start somewhere. You know, every journey starts with one step, and what they're doing down there is fantastic. I mean, Vinick is just making Channel Side relevant again, which was awesome. I remember when we were in college, that was like a cool place to go hang out, and then it just died. So I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing. It's going to be hairy for a year or so as far as getting around, but it'll be well worth the wait.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take a step back to take a couple steps forward, and that's what we're doing. We're putting in a lot of infrastructure here. We have the first ever wellness district being developed downtown. Interesting things happening in Tampa Bay. A lot of positivity, and let's go ahead and enter our lightning round. All right, top consumer tips, things to do, things to avoid. Jeremy Wolons, JW Assurance.
Well, one thing, I was talking to a client the other day, and since we're on the investor subject here, she was looking to put all her properties, these are rental properties, into an LLC. So I suggested that it's a good idea, and if you're going to do that, please get with your accountant or attorney to discuss that process. But one thing is you should know is when you're doing that, to let your insurance agent know, because once you remove it from your individual name into an LLC or an entity of that sort, you remove insurable interest at that time, and that could be detrimental. I mean, if you had a claim and you've just removed insurable interest, the insurance company's not going to pay out on it. So make sure you're in communication with your agent about that when you're redeeding property.
Excellent. Yep. Great point. Matt Fonk, Cavalier Estates LLC, property management expert.
Well, hey, I like land trust versus LLCs, but anyway.
There's no insurable interest there. That's the problem.
Sure, the land trust. Sure, the name on the deed. That's what you need to do. The thing that I think is really important is when you're looking for a property management company, look at what they have for rent.
Right.
Drive past some of the properties they have for rent and just ask them if they can give you referrals from the owners they deal with, so they can actually tell you that they get paid on time.
Right.
And if they don't, just say, well, can I at least look at the property? And then when you find out where the property's at, you can drive by, pull the address up, look in public record, and then try to contact the owner. I mean, if you really want to snoop out a good management company, you got to be careful about reviews online about management companies, because a tenant can give us a bad review when we did our job, what we're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Because we are responsible to the owner, not the tenant, unfortunately. The tenant hired us. The owner had hired us, so if we keep part of a deposit for payments and we're rightfully able to do so, and we get a bad rap because of that, that reflects bad on us. However, an owner needs to realize that we're probably doing our job, and that's why people get mad at us sometimes.
That's right, yeah. And when they're upset, they're going to tell as many people as they can.
Yeah, but we're doing our job for the owner, not the tenant.
Exactly.
The owners who we're taking care of the asset for. And,
it happens.
Tenants need to paint, need to plug the little nail holes. They need to clean the house.
Yep.
Pull the appliances out, clean underneath. They need to do everything like that. Light bulbs, air fans, windows. So if they don't do that, they get charged for it.
They got to respect the house. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
It's all about respect.
That's right.
Curt?
Actually, a great way to fix those nail holes is using toothpaste. I did that in college. I didn't want to. I couldn't afford paint.
I use soap on the back for the dartboard.
You know, if you're out there listening now and you know your credit is horrible, or you're not making the money that you need to make, and you know that you can't qualify for a mortgage right now, I don't care. Still reach out, because if you have a broken arm, you're not just going to sit there and let it fester. You're going to go to the doctor and get it fixed. Now is the time to get it fixed before housing prices go too high, or if rates increase, which then will push you further back. And I always tell my clients, I'll never say, no, I can't help you. I'll just simply say, no, I can't help you right now, but this is what you need to do over the next 1 to 12 months to get you in a position where you need to buy.
Perfect. Love it. Yeah, it's all about a comprehensive approach. We want you to think of this show as the hub of your financial wheel, each spoke extending out, representing another one of our preferred partners, expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've assembled to help you win. So no matter what you're looking at, whatever you're facing, business decision, finances, credit improvement, we've got William Crowley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician. That's another area, Curt, you were talking about before in schools that we need to learn more about fiscal responsibility in schools. Credit is another area that people, there's so many misnomers out there. But my consumer advocate tip for this segment is we're all so busy nowadays with our iPhones and Facebooks and different things that are calling for our attention. It seems every time I'm on a trip or I'm walking somewhere, I see, people are constantly bombarding themselves with different types of input, sensory input in their ears. And, a lot of times what we want to do is we need to slow down. People are so busy. We talked about making these decisions. So I want to talk about the discipline of clear thinking. So I want you to think about it. Picture a bucket of silt, a bucket of dirt there, and it's got water in it. So water and dirt mixed. The longer that bucket sits still, that dirt is going to settle to the bottom, and that water is going to clear up. So it's what Thomas Edison called thinking is the hardest of all disciplines. So think on paper, write out all the details, the pros, the cons, the cost, the people involved or assets involved. And the rule is fast decisions are usually wrong decisions. And the discipline of clear thinking is crucial to your success. All right, consumer advocate tips, things to do. We're going to go another round here. Jeremy Wolons, JW Assurance.
Things to do. Again, I always go over this. Make sure you're looking at your home insurance policy or your quote when you're getting a quote for home insurance to make sure you're getting the adequate coverage that you need, especially replacement costs on contents. I don't know how many times I see that removed when I see a quote because it's usually $300 savings difference between the quote and having that coverage, and that could mean having actual cash value or replacement value on your contents if you had a loss. So those are things to watch out for.
Yeah, it's important also to check your deductible. Lowering it, raising it. You can save a little money there too. Matt?
Wait, real quick. I got a friend of mine who's an attorney, and he does what they call it personal injury. I had him look at my policy.
Yeah.
Made sure it was programmed the way it needed to be.
There you go.
I mean, that's another wise thing to do. Hey, if you're going to do a property management and hire a manager, one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that they really do need to change their policy if they lived in the house and now it's a rental. They don't need to have, they just need a dwelling policy. And I think Jeremy could probably touch on it at a similar time or now, but you don't have to have contents because it's not your contents. Why insure somebody else's stuff?
Right, yeah. It's just like if you're renting, you have that, HO6?
You got
HO4, yeah, for renters.
Yeah, renters
policy. I mean, it
policy.
saves you a couple $100, easy.
Perfect. Curt?
If you're in a fantasy football league and you haven't done your draft yet, go ahead and take Antonio Brown with your number 1 pick. He's going to have a fantastic season, especially with Bell being suspended for the first 4 games. No, in all seriousness, make sure that you're aligning yourself with a fiduciary, someone that's looking out for your best interest, your short-term as well as your long-term financial goals. Make sure that your real estate agent, has your best interest at hand. Make sure that they're asking you the questions as far as growth and family and stuff like that. So just make sure you're working with people that care about you.
Love it. Yep. I want to thank all of our expert contributors for coming in today. I want to talk also about you as a business owner, how you can become a partner of our show. We've got select categories that we're looking for, and we offer a expert contributor branding package where we will bring you on the show. We're going to provide you legacy and video content, social media content that you can then repurpose on all of your websites, your social medias. You're going to have invites to all of our monthly gratitude parties, and you're going to have the opportunity to become a published author in the next edition of our Consumer Playbook, as well as introduction to any of our past guests or partners that you might want to talk to. Social media, website, blogging, press releases to promote you as well in your business, and special events, live events, and speaking opportunities that we're going to have offered as well. So again, thanks to Jeremy Wolons, JW Assurance, insurance partner of the show, Matthew Fonk, Cavalier Estates LLC, property management expert, and Curt Lorden, branch manager, Interlink Mortgage here in Tampa Bay, part of our consumer advocate platform. We want to help you win no matter what you're facing. Sellers, if you're a seller out there and you're on the fence about selling, we would love to talk to you as well. All you have to do is text value to our hotline, and we're going to give you a free comparable market analysis. Text value to 813-917-1894. Free comparable market analysis. Save $500 on an appraisal by texting value to 813-917-1894. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time, same time and place. Thank you.